It's exactly what happens to me too. My friends ask me about something, and they go, "Oh, that's pretty smart. Where'd you think of that?" I was like, "It's Chris's words. I'm just repeating them now to you because they have become my words right there."
Yo, 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 what's up? It's Chris Simms. It's Chris Simms Unbuttoned. You know it, baby. Super Bowl 59. Here we come. Ahmed Fareed here in the house. We're ready to go. We'll do championship game recap. As always, we are presented by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement. What's up, everybody? What up, homies? What up, Ahmed? You have a good day today?
It actually was a good day. It was
Good.
a good day because I could watch this game stress-free. No Detroit Lions, could just watch the game. Whoever won. But no, it was cool to watch, and that last game was something else. We knew it was going to be something else, and it was something else. It
was something else. It was a good day altogether. Even though the first game ended up being a blowout and the score didn't look the right way, it still was in the balance enough there to keep some intrigue for the good part of the football game. Eagles, as always, kind of pull away, but like awesome day to sit on the freaking couch. Are you kidding me? That's what I did today. Are you kidding? A nice fire. I had the couch going. Little smoky, drinky. Didn't go too crazy. Buffalo wings, fries. I mean, it was a good day altogether. I was happy to be an NFL fan today. That was my biggest thing today.
So what, was the whole family over? Was Dad over? Who was all over?
So that's how it goes down in the Simms household. Like, I mean, of course I'm staying home. So they know that at this point that it's like, all right, well, Christopher, he's got to do a podcast, right? And he's got to get up early and do his show. So we don't want him to come to our house, and we'll try to be happy and go to their house. And then the other aspect of that is, so that was my mom and Dirty Diana and Phil voice there. But then the other aspect is my sister throws parties at my dad's house and my mom's house, and she doesn't even ask, right? So they'll find out through the town rumorville throughout the week and be like, and my dad called me on Tuesday and he was like, "Oh shit, Christopher, shit. We're coming over Sunday. We're gonna come. Your sister, she's having a party at the house. Everybody's coming. We're coming to your house to watch the game." So yeah, mom, dad, and my Aunt Wendy at the house here with the rest of my family. It was a good day.
So wait, so your dad and your mom, they had a party at their house that they did not attend.
That's usually how it goes down, right? When my sister, who has a nice house, within 5 minutes of driving distance, when she wants to have a party, throws it at my dad's house and mom's house every time. So yeah, that's what my mom and dad will go back home now, right? That's why we're starting the pod a little late. Apologies to you and the rest of the crew here. But they're leaving the house. I'm trying to get them out. They're going to go home to a messy house of my sister and her friends, all who watched Championship Sunday at their house while they sat here and hung out with me.
What was Dad's? Because we're going to get your opinions here for the next hour and 45 minutes as we talk about two games, which we will be able to do. I think I have faith in you that we can go almost 2 hours talking about two football games. We'll get your opinions here. What was your dad's big moment? What was his big thought or big reaction or big whatever?
I feel like all right, so just to boil it down, basically, Commanders hang in there was literally just rooting for that for a little while, right? So that was probably the big thing from the first game. The second game was a little bit, damn, the quarterback sneaks with Josh Allen not getting it. How many times can you call that play? Maybe you should have done something else, right? And, of course, how the game turned after not making it with the lead there in the third quarter, and we'll break all that down. But I feel like those are probably the two things that dominated our household when it came down to like situational football and just talking the game a little bit.
All right, so that was Big Phil. Now let's get little Chris's opinions on this one.
Thank you.
We'll get to the NFC Championship game after the break. But let's start with the Chiefs and Bills. Like I feel so bad, and this is just because I'm a lifelong Lions fan, as we all know. It's just like for the plucky underdog. The Bills have been that for a long time now. Josh Allen, you've had so much respect for his game. You feel like he hasn't gotten the credit he's deserved. So first of all, congratulations to the Chiefs. They've done it again. We're gonna talk about them and rave and pour everything over them here. But just like for the Buffalo Bills, like at the end of this one, like how do you feel for that franchise, for Josh, and them just falling short just again?
Oh, I do feel for them. It was one of those rare games where I sat back and watched, and I really was like, I don't even care who wins. I know I picked the Bills, but I like both these teams a lot. I respect them a lot. Josh Allen at the end of the game, I certainly was like hurt by it. I think that's the big thing. I hurt because I heard from him, right? Just like, any great player or great quarterback, how important it is to him, how great of a player he is, that he's, deserving, worthy of being in a Super Bowl, winning a Super Bowl. He's that type of player. And to be as close as they are and really, come down to a play or two, really throughout his whole career. We're down to like 5 or 6 plays where everything, the career arc, his resume, the history of Josh Allen can be totally different. And of course, a lot of those stories are written differently because of the meetings with Patrick Mahomes and what he is and the force the Chiefs are in the AFC. So I do feel for him. I do. And I thought it was there to be had this year. They're certainly going to go away from the game going, damn, we lost. Yeah, the Chiefs, give them credit. They're a great team. But we had chances to win this football game and had chances where we had the momentum, and certainly can kind of put the blame on themselves for maybe not capitalizing in some of those situations, right?
All right, so what would your headline be? What would be the main reason why the Chiefs are once again going back to the Super Bowl now for the 5th time in 6 seasons, and the Bills couldn't get it done again?
I think the Chiefs were the better football team on the field. That's what I felt like through most of the day, right? Early in the football game, when we got going, the way the game looked, the line of scrimmage, everything from that standpoint, I kind of went, ooh, the Chiefs look a little more big. They look a little more physical. They look like they're a little bit more of the bigger football team in general. And really, I will say, and here's one of the ebbs and flows of the game, I think one of the biggest plays of the game, is the Chiefs up 7-3, driving, and you felt like, wow, they're kind of having their way with the Bills defense, right? Picking them apart with the zone defense, running the ball enough and annoying, I think, the Bills to where they were like, oh, we're a little worried about it. We can't totally just abandon our run defense for that. But early on, it was the Chiefs' passing game and surgical. And then the exchange fumble, right, with the fumble by Patrick Mahomes, and I believe it was Kareem Hunt, and he pulled it. Maybe it was Pacheco. I can't remember either way. That was one of the big moments of the football game where you went, whoa, things went back into the pendulum of the Buffalo Bills momentum-wise, but still felt like the Chiefs were probably the better team on the football field, and that it was more work for the Buffalo Bills to kind of hang in there and regain the momentum and then take advantage of the lead they had throughout the game. So that was a long headline, but you know what I'm trying to say there with everything I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's a headline and a sub-headline. They'd be able
I know.
What the font, what the font looks like.
I went into like too many spots in the football game without the headline. But my headline would still be the Chiefs are still the gotta-have-it team that is more talented than maybe we give it credit for. And in big game footballs, they can bring their level to a special place that makes them a special team. And I'm amazed that we're sitting here again talking about them going to the Super Bowl. That's a shorter headline. Maybe that's better.
I mean, they had the answer, right? The Bills go up 22-21. Chiefs go down and end up making it 29-22 with Mahomes just pinballing off people. Josh Allen and the Bills, though, had opportunities, and I know one of the headlines is going to be, I thought on that 4th down where Josh Allen, it looked like his body was over the line.
Yeah, right.
On that one, even over replay, I was like, well, that one is one where the fan bases of the Bills and everyone rooting against the Chiefs are going to say the refs are in the bag for the Chiefs once again. Like, I thought that one could have gone the Bills' way. And boy, oh boy, that would have been the signature play for Josh Allen at the end there, that 4th down fading away. Dalton Kincaid had his arms around it, should have caught it and didn't in that moment. It's just like those are 2 plays that just stand out from the end of this game or near the end of this game that just like if those had gone the Bills' ways, could have been different.
That's it goes back to our gotta have it conversations. The first one, right? The first one you brought up there, as far as the 4th down, trying to quarterback sneak it. People are going to be a little disappointed about, well, they already ran the quarterback sneak. We saw Kansas City have a little success stopping it to that point, right? We saw them giving him a tough time, certainly, and I believe they stopped him once, maybe twice already to that point. But the big thing is the Bills were good with that all year long. That is, to me, like that was one of their bread and butter plays. It's not like I know they're not the tush push, right, with Philadelphia or anything like that. But either way, it was a play that they're great at. They're one of the best we've ever seen at, and I think they went to the well. And you could question whether they went to the well too many times or that the Chiefs, once again, in their physicality, in those moments and their ability to rise up to the occasion, play it the right way, have people dive low, have people up top to hit Josh Allen, and they make those plays in those moments because they studied them. And then on the other play that you mentioned, with the blitz at the end of the game, on the 4th down to Kincaid, tight split, blitz off the edge, right? Still a great call that caught the Bills by surprise. Kincaid should catch the ball, yes. But damn, the Chiefs make a lot of big calls and a lot of big moments, and that's why they're so great.
Yeah. Were you at all surprised at how, the Bills defense, that Lions game was a shootout. And so we've seen the Bills have struggled defensively against the Ravens earlier in the year. So it's not like they have top tier talent. They've been playing a little bit better here lately. But were you surprised at some of the things the Chiefs did? They ran the ball pretty well. Kareem Hunt ended up with 64 yards in this one. Xavier Worthy was able to get free a few times. What about the Chiefs' offense in this one?
Yeah, they're patient with the run. The thing that we used to make fun of Andy Reid for the first 20 years of his coaching career, basically that he wouldn't stay patient in the run and do those things. Now they're like the most patient team in football, right? They keep their their offense in situations where it is 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 6. I'm not shocked that they were able to run the ball to that extent. I think where I was a little surprised, especially early on with the football game, is how the Chiefs came out in the passing game and kind of used bootlegs, RPOs, play action pass, and did that. And then we talked about the Bills' inability to play man-to-man so much throughout the year, and you saw that in the game. And then Christian Benford went down with a concussion again, and I hope he's okay. But that was a big moment too. And they're not equipped enough to where, even though the Chiefs' offense and their passing game wasn't great all year, playoff football, go to the Super Bowl type of moment, they're laser focused, ready for it, the practice leading up to it, what's on the line. They can raise their game to a level to where you go, wait, we didn't see this in the first 14, 15 weeks of the year, but now they're dialed in, and it's just unreal with what they can become in these situations.
Yeah, Pete notes in our rundown, it was the most points that the Chiefs have scored since week 3 of 2023. That was a 41-10 win over Chicago, and it's against the Bears. And so does that even count, obviously? Because the Bears are not very good the past few years. I'm going to read off a couple next-gen stats and get your reaction on it. So Patrick Mahomes in this game, the second most rush yards in a game this season. He had 60 in week 12 at Carolina. The second rush touchdown was just his second touchdown on a designed run of his career.
Yeah.
So I think they a little few wrinkles,
great feel for moments, knowing when to look for a lane to run to get a first down or whatever it is. The touchdown run at the end of the football game where the Chiefs are willing to break out a quarterback design run or two in big moments of a game. It's not just always Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. They have so many different plays and ways where, let's just take, for instance, the Bills we talked about. The quarterback sneak was their 3rd and short, 4th and short thing to go to, right? The Chiefs have all these different ways that they can access plays that are very creative to keep you off balance, and it's never just one thing. And that just speaks to the genius of Andy Reid and just how, what do I want to say, malleable they are to kind of change the game plan, the way they play year to year, game to game, to just make it work somehow, some way. And again, I think today the Bills were compromised a little bit they played zone defense. I thought they might take more chances playing man, and the Chiefs picked them apart. They were able to run the ball enough. And on the other side of the ball, it was just so much work for the Bills offense. They had moments running the football, but in the pass game, it was few and far between as far as plays and explosive plays that you felt like they could move the ball consistently on the Chiefs throughout the day.
So here's something on how Buffalo chose to try to defend Patrick Mahomes in this one. Next Gen Stats tells us that Buffalo played man coverage on 47% of Mahomes dropbacks in this game. That was the highest rate in 9 career matchups.
Okay, so that tells you what he's seeing in some of those scrambles, then, right? Some of those plays that maybe I think are zone or whatever else, he's seeing man and realizing, wait, if it's zone, boom, I'll get it out real quick. oh, wait, drop back, man, do I see it? Oh, no, it's not open right away. I have guys' backs turned, right? And now I can find a hole or a lane to run to and then do that. Those are the little things I want to pick up when we do our Pick Six, Wednesday podcast that I can see on film and some of those type of things. But that's what, that would lead me in another context clue to, what we talked about, his ability to run and what he did there and finding the time to run and the way to run in big play moments.
And they find a way to win in one possession games, 12-0 now this season, and their wins date back to last season too. I think they're now 17 straight in one possession games. Big Chief for 92. He's probably celebrating right now. Says, do you Chiefs win the moments again? Opening drive touchdown, 2 stop sneaks, big third down on one of Reed's classic man beaters. And so Big Chief for 92 is loving life right now out there.
Well, take advantage of situations. Down, okay, you're down. Right. What are you? You're down 10-7. And we always talk about, they always have an answer. So down 10-7, we were about to go up 14-3, but now we're down 10-7. We don't blink. We drive down. We score a touchdown. We force a fumble on the kick return. They're off of that. We don't settle for a field goal off of that kick return. We score another touchdown and go up 11 and really put the pressure on you, right, to way you would expect the championship team to capitalize on you in big moments.
Mm-hmm. A couple other comments here from Bills fans. This one is, well, actually a Pats fan. Pats fan 0910 says, damn, okay, I felt like the Bills play calling was too conservative. Is that accurate, or were they just playing the defense, what the defense presented to them? Never felt like Allen was truly unleashed. Would you agree?
I feel like that to a degree, and that's where, again, the film is going to come in handy, but I think there's still an element of they need one more scary guy on Buffalo's offense, Ahmed, right? Mm-hmm. Like we've talked about. We thought Amari Cooper might be that. There's something there that he's battling through, right? He wasn't even on the field or much of a presence throughout the football game. They got a lot of good players on both sides of the ball. But again, what I would say is, we see Chris Jones make big plays and big moments with the Chiefs defense, and we see always a number of different players on the Chiefs offense make plays, and it just doesn't seem like there's ever that for the Bills. And it looked like today that with a healthy secondary for the most part, the Chiefs defense was a little bit like, no, we're in your face. And of course, like I was saying, it made them work throughout the day to kind of move the ball and do that. And you couple that with the moments like we talked about. You missed the 4th and 1 quarterback sneak. What did the Chiefs do? They go down and right away score a touchdown. And again, it's just capitalizing on those moments is where they're about as special as I think any team we've ever seen.
But then Josh Allen goes down and takes his team down, and they answer right back. And so then they're right back in this ball game. And I think, people are going to say, oh, you keep saying that about Josh Allen. He needs another guy. He doesn't need another guy against most of the league. But that's games, if you're looking for a reason why they're losing by 3 points to the Chiefs, maybe just one extra guy is what they needed to beat Mahomes.
That's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. It's a fine line, right? It's a fine line. Or, you have to play exactly perfect, and you can't blow some of these situations we're talking about, right? It's one or the other. You either have to play perfect football and figure out a way to win and execute perfectly, like we kind of saw the Patriots and Bengals do to the Chiefs when they upset them in Arrowhead, or you got to find a way to have some guys that can make some plays. It's a big moments, and that's been one of the issues for the Bills. I don't care what year it is, what playoff matchup it is. It's always been that, and they're close. It was there to be had today. I know it, but that's again where we feel bad for Josh Allen, and they're going against the Michael Jordan of our era right now, and Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and what they're doing.
Hernan Favela says, damn okay to Steve Spagnuolo and that Chiefs D-line. Stopping Josh Allen and those quarterback sneaks was huge. Thanks for reading this. I love the pod. We know that, Hernan, because we see your tweets each and every pod. So Josh Allen was pressured on a season-high 45.9% of his dropbacks. None of those dropbacks, he was just 5 of 14, 66 yards. Did have a touchdown, though. And so that defensive line for the Chiefs, they put pressure on him with the blitzes by Spagnuolo. He performed at a high level and did that even while not performing at a high level when they got to him and made him run around.
people at the line of scrimmage, a lot of looks where I was like, oh, they're going to drop out and play Tampa 2 and do that, right? Where we talk about a lot. They're either a man team or they drop out and play Tampa 2, and plays where I would go and I'd be sitting there with my dad and the family and go, oh, they're going to drop out. And I go, oh, whoa, they didn't drop out. Whoa, they're in the face of the Bills. Oh, whoa, okay. Wait, they maybe have a little less respect for the Bills in the way they can attack down the field with the explosive playmakers than I thought, right? Or they feel confident in the fact that they don't want to give Josh Allen rushing lanes. They'd rather just collapse the pocket that way, and they think they can cover and overwhelm the Bills receivers for enough of a time to where Allen, between that and the 5- and 6-man pressures, he won't be able to find that completion. And that's where Spags is brilliant. He always seems to kind of have the right attack, and everything you think about or think you're ready for, he's usually got a wrinkle or two to bring to the table in a big game.
So this is 7 playoff wins for Josh Allen now, most all-time by a quarterback to never reach the Super Bowl. When a team loses, we always talk like, all right, what's their window? Is their window closing? Are they right in the middle of their window? I feel like for the Buffalo Bills, like Josh Allen is your window. As long as you have Josh Allen, you're in the playoff Super Bowl window.
Yeah, right.
What do you think about, the construction of their team, you don't know off the top of your head, like who's coming back, who's not. But like what spot do you think the Bills are in? Do you think that we can see them competing in the playoffs for a Super Bowl for a few more years?
Yeah, I got a pretty good feel for their roster and where it's at, right? There's some defensive adjustments that need to be made. Their offense is in a spot where you go, I like where it is. They're good. Like you said, it's Josh Allen. He's in the prime of his career. I think they need one more playmaker. I don't know who that is, right? We thought Amari Cooper could be that. He wasn't quite that guy. There's still a young nucleus, the O-line. There are not very many old guys there. The 2 tight ends, right? James Cook. They're going to have to pay a few people as we go forward here. But on the offensive side of the ball, it's set as far as a nucleus to go forward and still be a pain in the ass. The defensive side of the ball, there's maybe a little more juggling there, but the same type of thing, right? It's like they got a lot of good. It's still like, oh, well, hey, could we get one more difference maker on the D-line, right? Because it just feels like the Chiefs had guys that pop more than the Bills do. Can we have one more guy that can cover in the secondary in big moments and not have to play, man-to-man or not have to play zone so much? I think that's what I look at. That's why the Chiefs are great. They have guys at the line of scrimmage that can make plays on the defensive side of the ball, and they got guys that can lock you up in coverage in big moments. And usually that's what big-time playoff football is all about.
All right, Emmett Trainer says to you, damn okay, Sean McDermott, after another crushing loss, is it time for the Bills to move on from him? Josh Allen gives this team a chance every year, but it's clear the Bills have hit a ceiling with McDermott. The defense can never get the stop, and that's supposed to be his strength. And I would argue that he doesn't necessarily have the horses back there. But
that's what we're saying. I mean, I think that's what we talk about on our podcast, right, Ahmed? I mean, again, it's not disrespect. We like a lot of the players on their team, but that's what we talk about. Again, there's no McDuffie on the Buffalo Bills, right? They have Matt Milano, that's good, but okay, like Nick Bolton's really good on the Chiefs too. Let alone there's Chris Jones, who's a Hall of Famer, and Karlaftis, who's a double-digit sack guy, and a bunch of other guys in the secondary, and Reed and Watson, and they got players that can cover everywhere. I just don't know if those players quite exist, and that's where I know. I'm more of a believer in McDermott and what he does, and that the Pagula family and the GM need to find a way to just still improve the team. I don't look at the Bills quite on the same way as the Chiefs or the Eagles or the Ravens. But again, did you give them? I picked them to win today because I thought they'd be able to execute. I thought they'd get that quarterback sneak on 4th and 1 that they didn't get today. And they'd go down and score and put a lot of pressure on the Chiefs and come through in a big moment because that's what they had done all year. I thought they would be able to execute and do that, but as we see in the biggest moments, nobody out-executes the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, and Benford going out was a big blow for them. And I will just say that you were not that high on Kyer Elam coming out of the draft. Not that that's the end-all, be-all of anything here, but he did struggle when put on an island in this game.
He's big, right? He was good at the combine. His numbers were good. We talked about changing direction skills, holding a little too much in college when he came out. He's a first-round pick who doesn't start. That's all you need to really know about the situation, really.
Yeah. All right. So anything more from this game that we're missing? Any specific plays that stand out to you? I think we've gone over kind of the overarching themes of it, but were there any moments that you've said the Chiefs have handled the moments so well? I know the referee talk will be a big thing.
Yeah, the referee talk, but you know my thoughts on that. I don't agree with that shit. And I saw plenty of plays tonight where I went, man, the Chiefs got through the line of scrimmage and they got held and there was nothing there. And Josh Allen got to run away or throw the ball away. And I want to go, that should have been holding on the Bills, right? So I don't want to hear all that. No, I don't think there's any other theme that we missed really throughout the football night. I think we kind of hit on it. I'm amazed by the Kansas City Chiefs. As a football fan and a football historian, I'm amazed by what we see from them year after year. Again, another year where, yeah, I know they went 15-2, but as we all know, so many of them are nail biters. It seems like, you know, they can go moments of a game being uninterested or not detailed, but still when it comes time to like, oh, wait, no, you better be interested and detailed right here, they do it. And to be in the Super Bowl for, what is this now, the fifth time in 7 years?
Fifth and sixth, I think.
Fifth and sixth, sorry. Yeah. Fifth and sixth is insane. And the fact that they have a chance to be the first team ever to the three-peat is insane. And you just can't say enough about Mahomes and Andy Reid.
I mean, it's a crazy thing because last year, right? It was last year. You're like, the Chiefs can't expect to just turn it on in the postseason, right? They're going to be on the road for the first time. They got to deal with that. And then what do? They turn it on in the postseason and they go. Their defense carries them to a Super Bowl. And then this year, I would argue they're not as good as they were last year. Like, I mean, is that crazy to say that? Like,
I know it's not crazy to say that. Their defense wasn't as good. You're right. Their offense might have been a little bit better, right? They might have had a little bit more of a magic of finding a way to win games this year. Right. Yeah. That maybe is what they're, but it wasn't dominant. It wasn't like, oh, wow. Like every week they go out here and they look like the 89 49ers or the 93 Cowboys, where you're just like, they're in a different class than the rest of football. And that's where you just didn't know. And then even last week, they played good football against the Texans, but it wasn't great. There was moments there where the Texans could have made some plays and made that game interesting. But it's just like they get better and better. And then they play a little better today. And then we're going to go to the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. And we're going to go, wow, look at the fucking Chiefs here against the Eagles, who are supremely talented. And that's going to be a clash of the Titans that we're going to break down here in a minute.
And I will just say, before we move on to the next one, I mean, with how Worthy has shown up in the postseason, right? You have Kelsey making a couple big plays, just a couple. Brown seems to have an ability to get open. Juju Smith-Schuster down the middle of the field. P. Ryan comes out of nowhere and makes the game icing play at the end. I mean, like, even though you look at the Chiefs and you're like, all right, I don't know how explosive they are. It's like all of a sudden here we hit the Super Bowl and it's like there's a lot of guys that you could see in the Super Bowl and be like, man, Juju Smith-Schuster just caught 100 yards, a couple touchdowns, and he's your Super Bowl MVP. Like any one of those guys, the way how good Mahomes is, you feel
exactly. Like that's why they're explosive. You just said it. Yeah. You explained it to basically go, they're explosive because of Mahomes. That's what it is, right? He's a game changer that way. He does not play favorites. They've done a brilliant job of something you've kind of talked about really through the last 5 or 6 weeks with Xavier Worthy and going like, here he comes, here he comes, here he comes. And it's just gotten better and better to where you feel like he's confident and knows he's like a huge staple of the offense. And Hollywood Brown is close too. So, yeah, between that and then they always seem to have that under the radar guy that pops up. It was Juju today, but it could be, Watson some other time or DeAndre Hopkins another time or one of the backs out of the backfield in the pass game. They always seem to have that element you're not really ready for. And it doesn't have to be a superstar, but they have so many tricks in their bag and they're so versatile in their offense. And that's just another thing that makes them the Chiefs and so special.
And they're on to the Super Bowl once again. The only question is, who will they play? And if you didn't watch the games, then we will give it away. Spoiler alert coming up in our next segment of Chris Simms Unbuttoned. It is now time for Lowe's Home Team Help, brought to us by our friends at Lowe's with the new cuts. This is a new track for Unbuttoned.
Damn, we're like Club Miami tonight. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Who the hell's producing this show? I guess Pete's on South Beach. He said the hell with the Northeast is too cold. And he came back with some new jams here.
No, I was just down in South Beach doing a horse race, and it was too cold there. But it was too cold there is like 64 degrees.
Oh, I know. Yeah, right. And they're in winter coats with like hats on down there. I know. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. I know. I once was one of those pathetic people who played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, like the off season or whatever, it'd be like 49 degrees, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's freezing here. Let me put on my winter hat. And now 49 degrees up here, you don't even blink.
Well, you got that humid air, the ocean breeze, and so there's like a little wetness, dampness.
A little dampness to it. Yeah. Right. That's what they like to say.
It was a balmy 41 in Philly for the NFC Championship game between the Eagles and the Commanders. It was home team help because the Eagles have now won a home playoff game for the 5th straight time. This one was 55-23. Was it not as close as the score indicated, Chris? Was it even a bigger blowout than what that blowout of a score shows us?
I think ultimately it was the margin that was appropriate for the game, right? I think there was – I mean, would I be lying that we were sitting there and what was it at – when it was 14-12? Was I texting in my notes going, wow, I can't believe the game is 14-12. The Eagles have dominated the physical battle. The Eagles are clearly the better football team, but here's the Commanders hanging in the football game. The Eagles maybe not capitalizing on a few moments where they could have controlled it, whatever else. So, but I think as the game went on, we saw what I expected. I'm not saying maybe I expected to that degree, but my thoughts on the Eagles. The Eagles are clearly the most physically gifted football team in the NFL. And when they play clean football and they seem to know what they're doing in their game plan and have a little detail, and then the other team finds a way to mess things up and not play clean football on top of that, the Eagles are too good and going to blow you out when you do stuff like that and what Washington did today.
That's exactly what they did. 4 turnovers for Washington, none by the Eagles. Eagles scored 28 points off those turnovers. That ended up icing the game. Saquon Barkley, first play of the game. 60
Great
yards.
Great moment.
Offensive line. I mean, I don't know if he was even touched like 10 yards down the field. I just watching the Eagles run all over, albeit not a great defense, but doing it once again in the NFC Championship game. What were your thoughts on that?
No Daron Payne. When you heard that on Saturday that he was going to be out of the football game, I went, ooh, that's tough for Washington, right? The first drive of the football game, Washington, right? I sit there and yell at Philadelphia at times when I watch their defense. I said this to you a little last week, where I wish they would sprinkle in a little bit more aggressive defense at times, right? They're so good that they a little bit play the, hey, we're just going to be simple and we're going to play it safe and we'll make a play. But like the first drive of the game, what was it? It was 18 plays, 54 yards. Right, the Eagles defense couldn't get off the field on 3rd and 4th down. And I sit there and yell at Vic Fangio and go, oh, do something, be aggressive, blitz, play man, do whatever. But I can't be mad at him because in the big picture of the football game, his approach works almost every time. And the fact that even there, it was work. His defense was on the field, but they did make him kick the field goal, right? And then comes the moment you talked about. And here's one thing that jumped out to me about the football game. I thought Jalen Hurts did more at the line of scrimmage today than any other game I saw all year. And it started with the first play of the game. They were getting down there. The clock was getting down, and he got them reorganized to that play where they pitch it out to Saquon because they recognized the defense where it was a run defense, a lot of people at the line of scrimmage, but people to the weak side. And then they motioned somebody to the weak side because they knew it was man-to-man. And my point is basically that I think they knew what they might get in that situation. And he got to the right play in that moment. And then it's go, Saquon, go. And he's so freaking awesome. It's unreal.
Yeah, it does seem like he has this ability to stay. I mean, we've seen it, right? Cool under pressure. Now, the drawback of that, sometimes he's cool when he should maybe be a little more fiery. Right. Here, he's always a little too chill. But in these situations, it seems to really help him because what was there a clip last week of Saquon asking him, like, am I on the wrong side? Right. Don't worry about it. You're fine. We can get through this. So it's like, it does seem like he has a total command out there and maybe is doing more than he has in the past.
I hope so. They're talented, right? They don't need to do a whole lot. If they can just kind of find the right balance of little creativity, a little dressing things up, a little of Jalen Hurts being able to get them out of some bad situations every now and then. They're so good, as you saw today, right? They're going to be able to overcome a lot of different things. And a little bit like we talked about with the Chiefs, where they've gotten better. Last week, okay, we saw moments with the Eagles, but the game wasn't great. Today, it kind of started to continue to go up and up. We saw him get a little rhythm of the passing game, even though it wasn't perfect all the time. And then, of course, their ability to run the football and do that is second to none. I don't know if I really remember another thing about the Eagles that's just, to me, off the charts, right? We talk about the Chiefs, 5 out of 6 Super Bowls, one of the greatest things we've ever seen. The Eagles and their ability to be a home run hitting football team, right? Where it can be like 2 yards, 4 yards, 50, touchdown, right? 3 yards, 8 yards. Oh, we have to punt, blah, blah, blah. We get the ball back, 1 yard up the middle, 80, touchdown. They're one of the greatest I've ever seen as far as that, and being a more based around a running football team and not a passing team. And I think that's what makes them really unique.
A couple things here that they have done in the playoffs that not a lot of other teams have done. 7 rush touchdowns, tied for the most in a playoff game ever with the 1940 Chicago Bears in a 73-0 win over Washington. Most points scored by any team in a conference championship game since the 1970s merger. And Nuevo Huevo asks you, after hearing all those stats, is this Eagles roster the best we have seen in NFL history? I have a tough time seeing a glaring weakness.
I'm not going to say it's that, right? Well, here's what I would say. You've heard me echo those sentiments, right? We've been echoing those sentiments about the Philadelphia Eagles, I feel like, for the last few years. One of the great accomplishments of the Chiefs and the start of this maybe three-peat run was the fact that they beat the Eagles, and you heard me say, it's the Eagles. There's a reason Sean Payton's on Fox going, they're going to win by 15 today, right? That team is phenomenal. They are an all-star football team. I will say as much with Nuevo Huevo is that from the start of the salary cap era in modern-day football, from what we have, this Eagles team is up there with anybody. You put them up there with anybody. As far as, yes, players on the roster, you've heard me say it. I think the offensive line is all-time great. The defensive line and Jalen Carter, as you saw again today, is, if he's not the best defensive player, he's top 3 in football. They're young. They got depth. They have everything you want, and I would say it's up there with about any roster there is. But is it so much better than the Chiefs that Patrick Mahomes can't close that gap a little, as we know? Yeah. And that's what we've seen, and that's what's so great about the NFL, because the best team does not always win the Super Bowl.
All right, what do you make of Jalen Hurts in his performance in this? 20 of 28, 246 yards, I think, a touchdown, those tush pushes, had the running touchdown from a little bit farther out as well. Found some open guys. They schemed up. A.J. Brown one-on-one, got him the ball more than they have here recently. Definitely. With a touchdown with him. Like, what'd you make of Hurts coming in a little injured perhaps, checking out that knee? How do you think he moved, and how do you think that passing game looked with him?
The biggest things for the Eagles today, and I think that contribute to the blowout, we knew they were going to run the football and Saquon was going to be successful, right? You're not surprised by that. I'm not surprised by that. The defense caused turnovers, special teams, defense, whatever, right? And that Jalen Hurts made the appropriate throws and made some oh, damn, that was a good throw, right? Like, whoa, that was nice right there. And when they do that, that's what I'm saying. They're going to be hard to beat. That's what it is, because they're so good. And then, yeah, he hits a few little high-low combinations on the outside where he hit some deep outs early on and got them going. And then from there, you felt like he was in a good rhythm enough to the point where, again, where we talk about we felt like they were dominating the game, but it was 14-12, and they're on the drive, and they have a 4th and 5. Do you remember this 4th and 5, 14-12? He throws the fade route to A.J. Brown to the left sideline. That, to me, was the play of the day, the play of the game, the play of the playoffs for Jalen Hurts as far as the throw for him. That was the moment. That was the moment where you went, wow, are they going to convert this and take control of this football game? Or are they going to miss this and we're going to go, holy shit, Jaden Daniels and the Commanders are driving down here now to take the lead in the football game, right? And that was a money throw, clutch moment. And to your point, like what you talked about with Hurts, he doesn't seem to be ever too flustered or those moments are too big for him. And he delivered big time right there.
Realistic Takes said the same thing. Damn okay to the Eagles. Obviously the defense made plays all day, but the big question was always if Jalen Hurts could make big-time throws.
That's right.
The game was that fourth down throw to A.J. Brown. That was unreal. And Coog ZZ says, damn okay, Jalen Hurts. Guy has hurt all postseason. Where's the passing? He balled out today at all three levels, plus the 3 rushing touchdowns. So a lot of love being heaped on Jalen Hurts out there. I will flip it over now to the other side, the defense. What do you think the Eagles did? Obviously a talented roster. Quinyon Mitchell played. Jalen Carter was big. Our guy in the middle there, the other big guy, Jordan. I'm blanking on his name, but 90 made a huge play in the game too for the Eagles.
Oh, Jordan Davis. Yeah, I got you. Jordan Davis. Sorry, I was reading a little play-by-play here, catching up. So my bad there. Yeah.
No. So like, what was the Eagles' key to slowing down the Commanders enough in this one?
I think that the Eagles played a style of football where they are just a little bit of, we're so good, we feel like the more plays you run, we're going to make a play, which drives me crazy at times, right?
Yeah.
Right? You know that's not always my style. I don't think it's your style either, Mr. Dan Campbell and Detroit Lions. Right.
Oh.
But it's bend, don't break. And one of my phrases, one of our super freaks is going to make a play. Jalen Carter is going to make a play. Zach Bond's going to punch the ball out. Quinyon Mitchell is going to get the pick in the end zone. So we just feel like the percentages is that we're so good, our scheme's so good, and we'll play in a way to where we don't take many chances, but we're never going to be out of position. And as soon as you mess up, our ballers are ball. And that's where they can be a little frustrating and they can be bend, don't break like you're talking about. But it's hard to argue against the results and what we've seen from them. And they're going to have the ultimate test in the Super Bowl because they're going to play a guy now. We're going to go, you can play bend, but this guy seems to make a lot of teams bend and break. So yeah. I don't know if you want to do that. And that's where it's going to be awesome in this matchup.
In this one, the Commanders had basically no traditional running game. Brian Robinson, 11 rushes, 36 yards. Jaden Daniels did get free a couple of times. How do you think the rookie quarterback handled his first ever conference championship game?
Like the man. I have no complaints about him or anything that I saw that would make me think he was, in over his boots, his shoes, whatever the hell they say, right?
Whatever he's got on his feet. Yeah.
Exactly right. Like he did not seem flustered, that's for sure. And it was uphill sledding, as we know. I mean, damn. And you could see from the get-go, Daron Payne, not only that being an injury problem, right, for the defensive side of the ball, no Sam Cosmi, and the fact that Jalen Carter and the way the game started and the way the game looked, even when it was 14-12, or then when it started to look when it was 20-12 and 27-12, is that you felt like every pass Jaden Daniels dropped back to pass, you went, ooh, he just got that off. Ooh, he just got the. Ooh, they were about to get him, right? And that's kind of what it felt like throughout the day. And with a defense like this, it's too hard to go like we talk about 7 yards here, 5 yards here. And again, I'm going to say it one more time. Jalen Carter is awesome, like as good as I've ever seen a D tackle. That's how good he is.
I mean that's how good this defense is, because you've got Jalen Carter, one of the best you've ever seen, and then you have a secondary that. It seems like once they got Cooper DeJean in there playing constantly, that win streak started. And Quinyon Mitchell, you've liked him a lot. And Gardner Johnson is a guy that'll make some big hits out there. And then you got a guy like Zach Bond, 12 tackles, a team high, tackle for a loss, forced fumble recovery. And so he's had a big year. We'll have to play a little bit more now with who is Nakobe Dean out. But yeah, he can play though.
Zach Bond's phenomenal. One of the great free agent acquisitions of the offseason for the Eagles, and then couple that with like no Nakobe Dean, like you talked about, but Oren Burks has played really high level football. That's the other aspect that you're just totally impressed with their team. And again, that just goes into the depth and what we talk about with Howie Roseman and the Eagles and all together. And the fact that, again, like, I mean no disrespect to this. This was a great year by the Commanders. Dan Quinn, Jaden Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury, Adam Peters, the GM. It was amazing. They were playing a team that is in a different class today. They had to go third down, fourth down conversions. We got to blitz. We got to play man-to-man. We got to take a chance, right? I almost thought it got a little outdone there when it got 20-12 with some of the third and fourth down conversions. And then the fumbled kick return, right after that. Now the Eagles have the short field. I did feel like Washington panicked a little bit in that moment and was a little bit like, we're just going to keep blitzing and play man-to-man. And, of course, that was when there was a pass interference in the end zone with Devontae Smith. Marshawn Lattimore went through a few bad moments there. But that, to me, seemed to be like the moment where the 4th and 5 pass, touchdown, get the kick return fumble. The game got out of hand from that moment right there, and it was never really the same after that.
Well, if you're the Commanders, you're ahead of schedule.
Yes, right.
And you've got the quarterback, which is the hardest thing to do. And now it seems like you're in a great position because you got to remake the defense, but your head coach is Dan Quinn. And so I feel like as a Commanders fan, this is like obviously gutting because you feel like, man, this could have been the run. And how great would that have been? But, man, they're in a pretty good spot right now.
They're like sitting pretty. They're going to have a ton of money to spend. They got an owner and an ownership group that I think is showing they get it. I think they got a GM who's pretty damn good coming from San Francisco and understands what talent is about. Dan Quinn's an energy guy, right? Hopefully Cliff Kingsbury doesn't leave and go become the head coach of the New Orleans Saints or something like that. But either way, they got a very good nucleus. They're going to have money to spend, and this quarterback is special. So, yeah, Washington's not going anywhere, certainly. And I think they're going to be one of those teams that does challenge Philadelphia in years to come as being one of those top NFC teams.
All right, you know what that was? That was Lowe's Home Team Help. Our friends at Lowe's always helping out the home team. But they'll help out the away team, too, sometimes if they need some home improvement because they're not biased like that. We'll do both ways. Anything else we missed on that one? Anything that's in your notes that you want to make sure you
I think I kind of told you. I thought the Hurts, of course, we know the turnovers were huge. Right, always a big part of it, and it's that type of football game. Hurts at the line of scrimmage, I think, is something to watch out for here. That'll be big in the Super Bowl with the Chiefs and all the things they do. Right, even on his cute quarterback touchdown run, I believe that made it 41-23. That was another one here where I wrote in my notes and went, oh no, it might have been the 9-yard run that made it 34-15. Excuse me. And that was one there where I went, man, that was a great audible by Hurts. He saw something that they had taught him during the week, and they said, like, hey, if you get this look, right, go to this play, get everybody organized, and we think it'll be there. And to me, if they can get some of that, because we've talked about them and their what I call wasting plays, right, Ahmed? You heard me say that before, where they can run, we can run the ball, and you go, wait, you're going to run the ball into 10 people and it's A.J. Brown one-on-one on the outside? Or they pass the ball and you go, wait, it's a 3-man rush and there's 8 people playing coverage. If they can play this way and trust him at the line of scrimmage to that extent, man, that'll give Steve Spagnuolo another headache for Super Bowl 59.
And speaking of that, it is now almost time. We start today and for the next 13 days talking about Chiefs and Eagles. LIX. Welcome back to Chris Simms Unbuttoned, presented by our friends at Lowe's. Chris and I are just jamming out to the new music. We'd like it. Put it on Spotify, Pete. I'll play it on repeat in my car. All right, so here we go. Chris, empty the bucket here. Tell us everything that you will tell us for the next 2 weeks. No, I'm just kidding. Super Bowl 59. First look. This is just first look of what we are going to see 2 Sundays from now. Chiefs are early 1.5-point favorite over the Eagles. The over-under is 49.5, so I feel like that's pretty high. Whenever you're getting close to 50, that's a pretty high over-under. This is the Super Bowl matchup, Chris. Correct me if I'm wrong here. That you wanted. You think this will give us the best game in Super Bowl 59.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is the most evenly matched football game we could possibly get right in the Super Bowl, which I'm always a fan of because that usually means the best watching, the tightest game, right, late into the fourth quarter, and we're all sitting there, nail biting as we're watching Super Bowl 59 unfold. And I do believe that, and I think believe with the history that's on the line. And the fact that, yes, it's the Chiefs, all that they're accomplishing here, the way America hates them, and the way they're winning and all that against the team that, as you know, I always say, I think it's the most physically gifted football team in the sport, the most complete team in the sport. And that's where it's going to be awesome to see here. Because, yeah, the Eagles have the better players, but it's not enough to where you go, wait, the Chiefs – with the way they can execute in big moments, Mahomes' ability to make plays in big moments, style in which they play, right? The Chiefs match up pretty damn good with that style with which the Eagles want to play, right? It's not overly complicated on the offensive side of the ball. It's like we're physical, and then we want to play one-on-one football with our receivers on the outside. The Chiefs kind of like that football. They're like, that's what we do. Sounds good. We'll see you there. We'll see you in New Orleans. We'll see you on the lot, right? On the other side of the ball, too, where the Eagles are more talented than the Chiefs' offense. But the thing you hear me talk about the Eagles and what I'm concerned about is that conservative nature. Oh, we're going to play bend, don't break. But you're playing a guy here that can go 13 for 13 on a 70-yard drive and score a touchdown like every time he wants to in big games like we see. And that's where it's going to be interesting. And I think things will have to be changed by the Eagles a little bit. And there'll be some things about the personnel of the Eagles that's going to make the Chiefs have to change the way they play too, because they are going to be mismatched in a few areas because of that great Eagles talent.
So big storyline, right? Obviously, you've got the back-to-back chance for the first time ever in the Super Bowl era. You've got the Eagles, a little bit of a revenge factor there, starting the whole thing. Got Jalen Hurts, maybe that fumble and the return for a touchdown, erase that immediately. For the people that root for the underdog, you have no one to root for in this one. Because, the Eagles are not an underdog, right? You just describe them as like a super roster, super team. So it's just like those who wanted an underdog to root for are screwed in the Super Bowl.
Well, I think we all know the Chiefs were awesome, and we're not shocked they were here. And I think anybody that listened to our podcast, and no disrespect to your awesome Detroit Lions and all that, but I have been one that has been trying to say I thought the Eagles were the best team in football for quite some time, right? And I still think that. I don't know if I'm going to pick them to win the game against this damn team they're about to play with this guy at quarterback, and that's what I have to figure out over the next 10 days. But no, you're right. There's no underdog. It's a clash of the Titans. It's the best team in the AFC that knows how to execute and talent-wise, and then clearly the most physically gifted team in all of football in the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's going to be awesome to see it go down at Super Bowl 59.
Our producer, Matt Casey, just sent this tweet our way. It was from Nick Wright, because a lot of talk about what Mahomes has done in the playoffs here, and he phrased it this way. He goes, Mahomes has played in 20 playoff games. In 11, he won/never trailed in the fourth quarter. In 9, he trailed in the fourth quarter and came back to win 6. The other 3, in one he forced overtime, never got the ball. In another, he forced overtime and lost. And the other, he trailed 31-9.
Yeah.
So if this game is close, pick the Chiefs.
Mahomes is arguably the greatest quarterback to ever play in the NFL.
Oh, so wait a second. You know who's going to be calling the game?
Yeah. And that's the guy. He's in that class. We know that, right? We talked about that last year when we did our quarterback rankings. It's a small class. Mahomes is definitely one of the 5 greatest quarterbacks in the history of football.
If he wins this game, will he be better than the man calling the game on Fox, Tom Brady?
Well, I think there's aspects of his game that are better, right? He doesn't have all the rings and all the things he does, but the way in which he plays and the way he carried his team, maybe in some ways, I would say is more impressive than Tom Brady, definitely. And just the way it's kind of been on his shoulders from the get-go. I think that's where it's special. But it's unreal what we're seeing, and it's no joke that that's a real conversation with Joe Montana, Mahomes, Brady, Terry Bradshaw, Peyton Manning, whoever you want to say. but especially when you get into the resume and the rings thing, yeah, Mahomes is only second to Brady in this point in this conversation now. And there's, like I said, some things about him that I'm more impressed with than I am even with Tom Brady, and that's saying a lot.
Oh, I mean, how funny will it be if you could just hear under his breath Tom just being like, "Come on!" Whenever the Eagles have the ball,
interception,
when Mahomes,
yes.
When Mahomes makes a mistake,
right.
he goes, "You can't
right,
make that play.
right.
Quarterbacks will make that play. You can't be considered the best of all time."
Yeah. He just must not be as good as everybody says he is to do that right there.
Yeah,
it will be fun.
So you're going to be down there for a week. We got our podcast together Wednesday, but then you're going to go to New Orleans. You'll be there for a week. You'll be with Mike. I'll be there with you for a couple days. You'll do the whole thing where you talk to everyone who's selling bounty paper towels while you're down there.
You know it. I can't wait. I'm kicking the week off with Dan Patrick on Monday.
Oh,
doing
nice.
a little of that. We're doing the PFT show in the afternoon, I believe at 2 p.m. every day, right? I've never done the New Orleans Super Bowl, so that's going to be cool to kind of experience that. Get out at night, you and me. We're going to be doing, the scene a little bit. You're getting out. You're going out to dinner with me, and we're going to have a drink or two. All right, you have no choice.
I don't know about experiencing the scene. I don't know what that means. Exactly.
Well, it didn't mean anything more than going to the bar and having a drink. Okay, that's all it meant. All right, I think you can handle that. All right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
All right. Good.
The podcast is at 10 a.m. Central on Monday, so that's when we tape it. I guess that's when we're taping our.
That's what I do Monday. Yep, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll hit it there. We'll have my normal week with Florio on PFT. Me and him will do the PFT picks, but we got plenty of time to explain this to the homies. We got Wednesday.
You're right.
I'm going to break down the film of these two games. I'll come back at you with some good stuff there. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed today. Like, damn, did I enjoy today. I mean, a little too much. You guys were probably a little worried with me at the start of the pod. Were you a little worried? Like, I mean, be honest. Were you? Because
I was worried before you showed up, and then I was like, all right, because on draft night, I think you're a little more far gone on draft night. So I was like, all right, it's not as bad as draft night. He can get through this.
Exactly right. Okay, good. So you were worried, and I'm glad I made you worried because that would be no fun. I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
But I had a great day. I did lots of chicken wings, fries. It was good to watch some football. Like I said, and I'm in amazement. I cannot believe the Kansas City Chiefs and what they're doing. I really can't. I thought this would be the day that kind of the willpower of the Buffalo Bills, and they might get over the hump here to finally get to the big game. But you just cannot squash Mahomes. No. The way they play, they're special. And I'm going to be excited to see against this, what I almost call a damn super team in Philadelphia, and see that matchup for the Super Bowl.
And as Matt Casey said to me before we started this whole thing, it just saves next year for when NBC has the Super Bowl for Bills Lions. So we get that. We're going to get that one next year. We'll talk to the script writers about that.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that. We'll see you in San Francisco. Chiefs Eagles Part 3.
Yeah,
right? Seriously. All right, everybody. You know where to find us. We'll be back on Wednesday. Pick Six Podcast. My man Ahmed Fareed. Thank you as always for driving the ship. You the man. Seriously. Sorry I was a few minutes late. I had to get Dirty Diana and Big Phil the out of the house so I can do my job. All right. So I know you can respect that. All the homies out there. We'll see you Wednesday. You know where to find us. Subscribe, rate, review. All right. Peace out. Hope you enjoyed Championship Sunday. I know I did. Clap it up.
Clap it up.
Thanks for watching Chris Simms Unbuttoned. It's playoff time, baby.
So make sure to smash that subscribe button, as they say. We got game recaps coming up. We got all of our Super Bowl 59 coverage from Radio Row. You will be in New Orleans yourself.
And you're going to be there at some point, too, whether you like it or not.
Okay.
Thanks again for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out, homies.